living, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 huh? Boogie like this and I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Goddamn right.
All right, shout out to the fam. Much love. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all being in the live on this one. Shout out to you guys. Round of applause. Friday night, be up in this thing, man. Let's talk black and gold tonight, man. How about that, man? Big ups to y'all. OG Jerry, Mad Drummer, is in this thing. Brother Phillip, what's happening, bro? Good to see you. It's Poppy 504 Gundam. Quavadia, shout out to you, fam. Good to see you. L-Dub, what's popping, fam? Much love, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the live on this one, bro. And, man, listen, man, we're going to do the injury report. We're going to go over the preview of the Saints and the Buffalo Bills, fam. And let me tell you something, man. It's going to be a very fun game to watch one way or the other, man. So we'll go over the stats. And listen, the Saints, regardless of being 16.5-point underdogs, oh, man, they still have a puncher's chance. They have a puncher's chance. All right, anyway, man, let's roll it. We're going to listen to a little of Kellen Moore before we get going, then we'll drop right into it. Here we go, fam.
All right, start with the injury report. So out guys will be Dylan Radunes, Chase Young. Questionable will be Devon Bailey. The other guys that will be on there but are good to go are Tully, Trey Palmer, Cam Jordan, and then Trevor Penning. So those guys will be all available and good to go. So open up the questions.
How do you feel like the team handled this week of practice after last week's game?
Yeah, that was been an excellent week of practice. Our guys responded the right way. Obviously there's frustration anytime a game goes like that, but all you can control moving forward is how you work and how you prepare. And so I thought our guys have responded well.
All right.
Do you mind sharing the rest of the week of how the penalties went?
I won't hear this one.
I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. Similar, we had a couple on Thursday.
I need to hear that again, fam.
I don't. All you can control moving forward is how you work and how you prepare. And anytime a game goes like that, but obviously there's frustration
after last week's game.
Yeah, I thought it's been an excellent week of practice.
Excellent week. Okay.
Our guys responded the right way. Obviously there's frustration anytime a game goes like that, but all you can control moving forward is how you work and how you prepare. And so I thought our guys have responded well.
We'll see.
Do you mind sharing the rest of the week of how the penalties went? Yeah.
I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. Similar, we had a couple on Thursday. So.
Were you pleased with the progress you saw though in that area?
Yeah. Yep. I think we've spent a lot of time. I think our guys are acknowledging it. It's on everyone's mind in a heavy way, which is a good thing.
How important is it to establish the run early in this game in Buffalo?
I think it's just important to have control of your operation, I think, and execute at a really high level. Obviously, you'd love to run the football. That's a big component of this thing. But we got to get first downs. We got to be efficient on first and second down. We got to, just play really clean execution football and, have the football for control the time possession and play that game.
kind of a dumb question, but getting the starting offensive line on the field for the first time, how does that help the offense? Having that group intact?
Yeah, obviously we haven't had that group for most of this last month and a half or so, and so I'm excited to see those guys play, to get them some continuity, get playing. We've had a couple of guys step up and done a really good job, but certainly this is the group that we feel can progress in a really high way and progress together as we build this thing.
Mr. Trevor, how can you sense the excitement for him just to get back on the field? Obviously, it's been a while.
Yeah, he's done an excellent job. He's done everything you can ask. Nothing easy about having to navigate an injury to start an NFL season, and with the transition that he went through, just going back to guard. And so he's going to do an excellent job. We're fired up for him.
All right, that's Kellen Moore, man. Shout out to you guys. And as you heard, and it's very good to hear the final practice. Of course they'll do the walkthroughs, all this sort of thing. But listen, fam, let's just be honest here. The Saints, people are looking at this team and they want to see improvement, radical improvement, especially after that ridiculousness that we watched last week. That was just really something. Let's just say it was really something. All right, what's up, Debbie? Shout out to the Queens. Debbie, Chantel, much love. Good to see you. What's up, Bev? Shout out to you as well. Appreciate you for being in as well. Much love to you. All right. Do you think the Saints are beating the Bills? I will pick no. I will not. Won't say that the Saints will beat the Bills, and that's not just because of recent and when we did the original scheduling. I thought the Bills would be too much for the Saints. It seems like everybody's too much for the Saints, even the Saints. So, but this is one of those watershed moments where the Saints have an opportunity to plant themselves as supreme underdogs. You couldn't ask for a more scripted background, if you ask me, because everybody believed the Saints will lose this game. They're 16.5 points underdogs to the Bills in their building. So if you want to make some money with the Saints, you can bet on them right here. They're supreme underdogs. And for that reason, a lot of people think the Saints will pull the game out against the Bills. But then again, the Bills are a good team. This team has Super Bowl aspirations. They're one of the elite teams on the other side of the NFL in terms of the AFC. And they're they're a juggernaut, man. So Josh Allen's playing on a very high level. He has a very good team around him. They have Super Bowl aspirations. That's more than I can say about us. We're not close. But it's like a measuring stick game for the Saints. A lot of people not anticipating them to win the game. But I think most of the Who Dat Nation just would be better or happy just to see them play a competent brand of football where they don't totally embarrass us again. So we'll see what Kellen Moore got it cooked up, man. This is a week here, man, after getting smashed down on. They didn't bring anybody else new in, in terms of trying out, with the kicker. Can they iron out the stuff? We heard earlier in the week from special teams coach Phil Galliano, who talked about the coverage issues that the Saints had, the punt return for a touchdown, the 60-yard punt return, the block that they allowed to happen as well. So it was a comedy errors there. And, of course, the Saints have to improve as well on both sides of the football, special teams and defense and as well as offense. So it's a lot to be said there. All right, what's up, AKZ? It says 0-4. I hear you, man. All right, so anyway, man, listen, this is going to be a tough one, man. We knew. And you don't like to try to stack the weeks and say how they performed in weeks 1 and weeks 2 will then be what they do in weeks 3. You try to at least keep them separate and try to learn a lesson from each one of the outings. That's what you try to get some sense of if the team is, if they're improving or going in the right direction. And obviously last game showed the Saints have a lot to learn in many respects, man, especially in pride and courage and all these other positive attributes that winning teams have. They have a supreme brand of confidence. The Saints don't seem to have that. Most of the really good teams have supreme intelligence. They have supreme discipline, and the Saints are not exhibiting very high qualities of any of those things right now. And until they do, teams will continue to use them as a doormat to get a win. They have to have some pride about themselves, and people got to earn their paychecks. That's the bottom line. So anyway, with that being said, let's jump right into it. Of course, you heard what Kellen was talking about. Y'all hit the like button as we get going in the broadcast, man. Shout out to the family members across all several spectrums of multi-screaming that we're possibly doing across X and all the other places, YouTube and IG. Shout out to all you guys. Appreciate you for being in the stream. All right, let's get in. This is, of course, what Coach Moore was talking about. Dylan Redunce, the backup offensive lineman, he is DNP'd. He is out for this particular game right here. We also know that Chase Young is also out for the game. This is the Thursday report. But, yeah, he's out. Here, let me get the more recent one. Here we go. I'm sorry. All right, so anyway, yeah, there it is. So Redunce is out. Chase Young, what about that close thing? Close is no cigar, right? Boy, didn't we hear Kellen Moore say something about such and such being close? Didn't he say that? He said something about, hey, man, Chase, we putting it out that Chase Young is close. What is close? I mean, the guy is out for another game. That's 4 straight games that Chase Young was supposed to meet with this calf issue that wasn't supposed to be a big deal. It is a big deal now because the Saints are missing whatever Chase Young who got this big contract. We need him out there opposite of it, and the Saints are not producing any other pressure outside of Carl Granderson. The guys are just not, they're not getting loose. But so both those guys out. Tali Fuaga did fully practice. He went from limited to fully practice with knee and back issues. Listen, that's a positive. That's a positive. Trey Palmer with the hamstring is fully practiced, even though the Saints potentially won't use Trey Palmer. We haven't seen Trey Palmer at all to this point. Devon Velli was limited with a hip issue. He's a game-time decision. Cam Jordan also dealt with a groin. He's good to go. So is Trevor Penning, who will start at the other guard position opposite of Cesar Ruiz. And, of course, then you look at the Buffalo Bills. They only have 4 reportable injuries they want to talk about. Spencer Brown, the offensive lineman, was questionable game-time decision. Matt Milano, the linebacker, and big defensive tackle Ed Oliver are out. That's a big one there. Ed Oliver is a really good defensive tackle. He'll be out of this game. And questionable is defensive end A.J. Espinosa. He is out with a he's questionable game-time decision with a pectoral issue. All right, so anyway, outside of that, man, this will be interesting, but the pass rush, like on this injury report, the Saints need to generate a pass rush, really. And it also, the wide receivers, it's just, it has to improve. The Saints have to get some synergy and chemistry downfield. Missed deep throws and all. You got to make the defenses. You got to hit on them. You got to be in connection. You heard Kellen Moore say they had a really good practice, all this kind of stuff. You got to translate these practices into the games. For whatever reason, there's a disconnect there. The Saints get to the games and make all these errors. It's just laughable. It's ridiculous. The Saints have 31 penalties right now, which is completely insane. Anyway, fam, let's do this, man. How about speaking of somebody else? We don't like to not let a guy get known about what he's gonna do in terms of how the offensive line would play. Well, let's hear from one right here. Here's Cesar Ruiz.
Season has been running the ball.
Yeah.
How important do you think it would be just to establish the run game, especially early on?
Yeah, it's extremely important. Extremely important to establish any game, but especially right now, that's the emphasis we gotta, get on top of. So, run the ball is important.
This will be the first game of the season that all 5 will be projected starting offensive linemen will be on the field. Like, how excited are you to be back out there with that group that's been working together since OTA?
Yeah, it's exciting, man. Especially, got guys coming back from injury, got Trevor coming back. So, it's great. It's great having Charlie back, too, just having those guys back that we've all been working in sync together, doing a lot of stuff together, throughout the off-season and training camp. So, just having the guys back together is fun.
When y'all were clicking and together, especially in camp, what was the biggest thing that you noticed was a strength for this group that you're, excited to see come to form in a game?
I'm just excited to see everybody put their talents to show, man. A lot of guys do a lot of chemistry together. Even guys do chemistry together with the guys that had to replace, coming in play. So just having that chemistry back in practice and, being able to go out there on the field and do it is exciting.
All right, that's it. It's Cesar Ruiz, man. And like I said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say nothing. I let the tape speak for itself. But that's just from what we seeing from him, man. He is. I don't see how he can even accept an interview like, man, listen, I can't talk right now. Listen, I'm not doing very well. I need to focus on my technique. Can we get you to block better? Why your footwork so bad? Why you appear to be, confused on blocking assignments? Why are you up here taking all of this money and you're not nearly as good as what you're supposed to? Why haven't you been benched yet? The questions that people really want to know. He probably said, you know what? I don't know why I ain't got benched. Yeah, that's a crazy thing right down there. I don't know why I ain't get benched. That's one of the world's mysteries next to the Bermuda Triangle and Bigfoot. The reason why Cesar Ruiz hadn't been benched yet. Oh my goodness. But anyway, let's get right into it, man. Here are some of the stats to kind of go over and ponder through 3 weeks going into the 4th week, fam. These are some of the season rankings for the New Orleans Saints, man. Look at this stuff right here. Let's get this going. All right. Saints, of course, ghastly 0-3. The Bills are 3-0. They're perfect. The scoring average is NFL ranked. Saints are averaging 16 points. If you round them off, 16 points a game over the last 3 games. 16 points as terms of an offense. That's 29th in the NFL. You're not going to win anything with that. The Buffalo Bills averaged 34 points flat. That's top 3 in the NFL. That's how you do it. The Saints give up over the last 3 games 30 points a game. That's 26. The Bills give up 23.7 for 20th. Their defense not all that, but at the same time, as you can see, they average more than they give up. So the defense, literally the Saints are giving up 30 points a contest over the last 3 games while only scoring just 16. That will definitely make you 0-3. Total offense, Saints average 311 flat. That's 19th in the NFL. The Bills at 420. That's first in the NFL. Total offense, Bills running it 420 yards a game. The rushing attack, Saints at 102.3, which is 18th. The Bills are best in the NFL, 163 flat through 3 games. The passing attack, Saints 100, almost 200 yards a game. That's 17th. The Bills are 257 yards a game, which is top 6. So this is not going to be easy offensively speaking. The Bills are an elite level offensive unit. They run the ball extremely well. And they pass the ball as a top 6 unit. So they are, it's going to be quite the fixture to stop. In terms of total defense, the Saints allow 313 points a game. That's middle of the pack. The Bills at 287.3, which is top 9. The rushing defense, Saints allow a 103.3, which is 13th. The Bills do give up 156 yards per game. That's 32. So if the numbers hold true, we should be able to run the football against this team. They give up 156 yards. That's dead last in the NFL. So as long as we don't keep doing the same thing, you like that really irritating delayed draw fake to Elvin, then give to Elvin from the same spot. The little irritating delayed draw that we keep using that people figure out really good. Can we do something else? You please? Jeff said, I'm just saying, the 3 weeks of tape, could we do something else? There's got to be some other wrinkles that we can throw in this thing. That annoying little delayed draw with Elvin is just reduce. Let's do something else. Can you use the tight end stall to block to give him a lead blocker sometimes? I mean, just change it up. That shit sucks, man. And then, of course, the passing defense. The Saints allow 210 yards a game. That's 17th in the NFL. The Buffalo Bills give up 131.3, which is 2nd in the NFL. So if there's any weakness statistically talking about with the Buffalo Bills, it's them allowing you to run at them for 156 yards a game, which is dead last, and you can't throw at them. They only allow 131.3, and that's 2nd in the NFL. Then you can, of course, see The punt return averages, Saints averages 16.2, which is 6th in the NFL. The kick return is 24.5, which is 22nd. Bills punt return average is 5.3, which is 28th. But they're top 4 when it turns to the kickoff, which is almost 28 yards a game, which is 4th. The turnover margin, the Saints is tied for 16th in the NFL. The Bills are +3. +3, so they get the turnovers. Time of possession goes to the Bills, 34-59 versus 29-15 is the average. Touchdowns, 12-5 through the season right now. Penalties, fam, through 3 games, the Saints have a total of 31 penalties for 211 yards. The Bills, half of that, 14 penalties for 142 yards. You can see the op penalties, 22 versus 18, 164 op yards versus the Saints versus Bill 143. It's just ridiculous. But that's the hardcore statistics through 3 weeks, and that's very interesting stats, isn't it, family? And if the stats do hold, the Bills' one weakness would be their rush defense, which is worse in the NFL. Can the Saints capitalize? Can they take advantage of that weak run defense? That would be the thing statistically that we would have to look at doing for this team. But what's interesting here on a series note about the Bills and the Saints is the fact that with the Saints going at the Buffalo Bills from a historical standpoint, the New Orleans Saints have won 4 of 5 at Buffalo and have not lost there since October the 30th of 1983, the team's first meeting at Orchard Park in New York. The Saints also won 5 of the past 6 games, including the 47-10 win and their most recent trip to Buffalo back in 2017, which stands as the largest margin of victory in the series between the two teams. So they've won 4 or 5, historically speaking, in Buffalo. So from a historical standpoint, the Saints aren't afraid to go to Buffalo. But can they capitalize on this from a historical standpoint? We do recognize that some of these other teams were more talented than our current rendition, but nevertheless, history in that phase of it is on the Saints side. So can they take advantage of that? That will be determined. Now let's kind of look at Buffalo before we get to the keys of victory. Let's look at who these guys are to get more familiar with the Buffalo Bills. Right, Josh Allen, the fantastic quarterback they have there, 755 yards right now in the NFL. He's 69 of 99 for almost 70% completion rate. He averages about 7.6 yards per throw, and he's 252 yards per game. Mr. Josh Allen, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks, has been sacked 4 times, but has an awesome rating of 108.8, playing a very high and really good and quality brand of football Josh Allen is playing right now, which is definitely signifying why the Bills are undefeated. James Cook, who's the brother of the other Cook from Minnesota, who used to play for Minnesota, is the top carrier of the ball right here. This gentleman has 53 carries for 284 yards. He is a beast. He averages over 5.4 yards per carry. He has 4 rushing touchdowns and single-handedly rushes for almost 95 yards by himself. Also, Josh Allen is a big part of the running game. Through 3 games, he scrambled 24 times for 114 yards. He himself averages almost 5 yards a run, and he has 2 touchdowns there. So Josh Allen averages 38 yards scrambling by himself. So you add Cook and Allen together, and they have a very interesting duo there, because Josh Allen is very athletic. He's not Lamar Jackson, but he has his own degree of athleticism. He'll take off on you. You got a pair of wheels on him for a big guy with a strong arm. And as you can see, he'll take off on you. All right, outside of that, as we keep moving, Keon Coleman. Remember Keon Coleman, the big wide receiver out of college, 14 catches, 158 yards, average 11.3 yards per catch, and has a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid, which is another really good weapon. Keon Coleman, a big wide receiver that is more like the possession guy, big physical target. It's going to be a tough day for Kool-Aid McKinstry. Keon Coleman's a big physical receiver. He kind of been struggling against those guys. And you better look for Josh Allen to go after Keon Coleman. Dalton Kincaid, another very good tight end. He's the second leading catcher of the ball. 13 catches for 151 yards. He averaged 11.6 yards per catch and 2 touchdowns for Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid. They have 2 pretty decent tight ends. Kincaid's the first, and Dalton Knox is the other guy, and they use him. Khalil Shakur is a speedster kind of guy. He's 11 catches for 121 yards. He himself averages 11 yards per grab, and he has a touchdown. Palmer, another wide receiver they use, 8 catches for 113 yards. He averages 14.1 yards per catch. So if you can look at it and see, plus Elijah Moore is there. If you look at what they got going on, notice the average per catch. Each one of these guys are averaging well over 10 yards per catch between some of the top 4 guys that they utilize. They're averaging 11 yards per catch, except for Palmer, who's averaging 14. Right? We know Palmer, I think Palmer is the speedster there. So this is going to be interesting to see how the Saints secondary match up with Josh Allen's wide receiver core. You know, they got a little bit of everything. They got a good tight end, a couple of good tight ends there, but Kincaid's is solid. Coleman's a big wide receiver who gets the 50-50 ball. Shakur is also a really good wide receiver who can move around. And they have good talent there. These young guys play well, and they got a good chemistry with Josh Allen. The big guy will find him. So, you know, we have to be very aware of that. And on the defensive side, some of their best guys leading the team is Christian Benford, the cornerback, with 15 tackles, followed by Terrell Bernard, who had an interception. He has 4 tackles. Cole Bishop, so he gets mostly safeties in the backfield. Taylor Rapp and a few other guys. You don't start getting the tackles till you get to Dorian Williams, one of the linebackers there. Matt Milano is supposed to be out for this game. You might see Shaq Thompson get an opportunity to play the former Carolina Panther. The top sack guys for this unit, for the Buffalo Bills coming into this thing, they all share a lot of it. Not too many people doing too much. As you can see, Ed Oliver is out. This team does have Bosa. We played against Nick Bosa against the 49ers. He made his presence. Joey Bosa, the former Charger guy, signed with this team this past season, and he's on this team. So right now, he isn't really caught on yet right now. He has 5 total tackles and a sack. But you got to be, when you have a Bosa lined up there, you got to watch out for him. Even Greg Rousseau is another really good defensive end that they have there. You got to watch out for these guys. These Buffalo Bill defense is pretty good. But like I said, they are susceptible to the run. We got to keep feeding off of that. We got to make sure that we got to hit them with the run. This team is notoriously bad in terms of that, and we got to make sure we keep them being bad. We got to take advantage of that. Can the Saints run the ball? That's the big point against them, point of contention. The Bills will try to crystallize and stop that from occurring, but at the end of the day, the Saints they're going to have to run that football. But these are a few guys just to warn you about. Here's the starting lineup for the Buffalo Bills. Right here as we went over Josh Allen, James Cook, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Josh Palmer. Those are the 3 top guys. And like I said, these guys average over 11 yards per catch, so he gets them the ball. James Cook is a fantastic wide receiver, one of the best in the game in terms of the yards right now. Josh Allen's playing really good. Dalton Kincaid is a big weapon for them, and they do mix in Dawson Knox. So they know how to mix these guys. And their line is also doing a decent job of keeping Josh Allen clean and keeping pressure off him, although Spencer Brown does have an issue. But most of these guys will play with Dawkins, Edwards, McGovern, Torrance, and Spencer Brown. On the defensive side of things, you see Rousseau, Ed Oliver is out, so Walker will get an opportunity to step in. Daquan Jones is also there with Joey Bosa. Matt Milano is out. Thompson most likely will fill in with Bernard and Dorian Williams. Then, of course, we go into the secondary with Tre'Davious White, who's been there for a while. Christian Benford is the top tackle on the team, and Teron Johnson. The safeties are Tyler Rapp, who's pretty good, and Cole Bishop. So the Saints will be. And, of course, the kicker and punter, place kicker is Matt Prater. Punter is Cameron Johnston. So let's talk about players to watch out for. We know that Josh Allen is the straw that stirs the drink for the Buffalo Bills, right? We know that they have a mixed, really good offense, meaning they can throw the ball and run the ball, which makes them a very difficult team to stop. And of course, it goes without saying that the Saints will have to do whatever they can to generate a pass rush on the Buffalo Bills. However that folds to, or whatever the hell that means, they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to get a pass rush on Josh Allen. You cannot give Josh Allen the Mac Jones and the Sam Darnold treatment from weeks 2 and 3. That cannot happen. They made Mac Jones and Sam Darnold look like all-pro quarterbacks. So if you do that to Josh Allen's going to throw for 400 yards on your ass, just like that. You can't do that with Josh Allen. You got to get to Josh Allen, and you got to bring him down. And if you got to get multiple guys back there to grab him, you know he big, 6'5", 240 pounds, he'll drag you. I've seen plays where he's standing, the guy got a hold on him, and he hanging off of him, he still throw the ball. And so it's not going to be easy for Josh Allen. So whatever the Saints got served up on a game plan for Josh Allen, they better make it work, because it ain't good. It's not going to be easy. This guy is everything for them, you know. So it starts with slowing him down with pressure. Now we know Chase Young is not going to be there because he's out again for the 4th consecutive week. I hear you, KT, all the way from the chat. I hear you, KT. KT said, Q, I tried to tell you. I know you're there, KT. I can hear you, brother, on this whole Chase Young thing. Chase Young's making a lot of money. The calf issue has kept him out a month worth of games. We had the report last week that he was close, which means he wasn't going to be here this week. He'll be here against the Giants, according to what they're saying. Regardless of how you slice it, the reality is that if the Saints don't have a game plan, Mr. Staley, the defensive coordinator for the Saints, he's going to have to dial up something to get after this guy. We can't sit back there with that weak-ass soft zone stuff and allow people to pick the Saints apart and hope and pray that they're not on their game for that day, as opposed to knocking them around and flushing them out the pocket early and making them throw the ball early, this kind of thing. We have to pressure this guy. And, of course, it's a tall order, but it must be done. This is the team we're playing. The next key to it is stopping James Cook. Cook is the next guy that we have to stop. Right now, as you can see, James Cook, he balances the team. He's a combination of speed, very quick guy that can catch the ball out the backfield. He also has a degree of power to him. He's not as powerful as a Saquon Barkley and all that kind of stuff, but the guy is fast, elusive, could move, and he'll lower his shoulder, this type of thing. But James Cook is good. He's 8th in the NFL with carries. He's 2nd in the NFL right now through 3 weeks with rushing yards. He's tied for 1st in the NFL with rushing touchdowns. And he averages over almost 5.5 yards per carry. They got another good one there. So it's like Buffalo, offensively speaking, pick your poison. You got to get after Josh Allen, and you have to slow down James Cook. And that includes getting after Josh Allen means that you can't flush Josh Allen from the pocket and allow him to scramble upfield for 5, 10, 15, 25, 30 yards slide. 5 yards, 10 yards slide. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 slide. You can't do that, because Josh will take off on you and run and slide, and even sometime maybe lower his shoulder on a smaller player. Can't let that happen. Flushing him, you got to contain as well. You can't have dumb defensive line play where you blitz and leave an open and he will take off on you. So that's a tall order. And is there such a thing as spying Josh Allen? Do you have a linebacker that you can start that can spy Josh Allen? So it's a tough challenge. So we're talking about beating the Bills is one thing, but you got to take some of these people away, or at least slow them down. This just starting with just these two guys alone is a handful before you get Josh Allen going. But maybe if you can, and remember, this has to happen early. You have to get after Josh Allen and get him off rhythm right away. And then, of course, James Cook is a whole nother issue onto itself. And like I mentioned, they have some good wide receivers, but the possession guy is this guy, Coleman, 6'4", 215-pound guy out of Florida State, 2nd-round pick a couple years ago, right? Last year, actually, he stepped up into his role and has been a really fantastic pickup for him. And this is who probably more than likely Kool-Aid McKinstry, my bad, Crystal Light McKinstry. This is more than likely what old Crystal Light will be dealing with Keon Coleman. So we need Crystal Light McKinstry to become Kool-Aid McKinstry again with smart football play and maybe a couple of interceptions. We need some help there. And of course, like I said, the speed is there too. So it's these guys are going to test them because they're not big name players, but they are young players that are solid. Like Khalil Shakur, he's a speed guy there, as you can see, averaging 11 yards per catch, 121 yards. We talked about him. These are young wide receivers that don't have much of a name. You know, we know Diggs is not there anymore, but these guys do hurt. They can hurt you. The statistics are don't lie. These guys get downfield and they make plays. You know, this guy, Palmer, is the speedster in the slot, 14-yard average on catches. You know, he had 8 of them, but this is the guy that stretches you. And of course, like I said, Dalton Kincaid, this is the other guy right here that they really rely on. This is this is their top tight end guy, and he is good for them. Dalton Kincaid is a good tight end, man. He's a first-round pick a couple years ago, 13 catches for $151, 2 touchdowns, 11.6 yards per catch. They'll use these guys, and also the other tight end, Dalton Knox, they like to mess around and use them both because they're very similar. Knox is probably, least a little bit least athletic than Dalton, but they're very good tight end combo together. The line is decent too. Not nothing to knock on about, but they do have a decent and quality offensive line that do a decent job of keeping your boy upright. It must be doing him something because they sit up here at 3-0. And the games haven't been, crisp games, but they've been doing all right. So Dawkins, Edwards, McGovern, Torrance, and Spencer Brown. On the defensive side, you can see linebackers Rousseau, Ed Oliver's out. And like I said, it's going to be interesting, man, to watch what happens here. So from the offensive side, it all deals with pressuring and containing, and sacking, disrupting, whatever you got to do with Josh Allen. The other thing is slowing down Cooks. I don't know if you can stop him, but you damn sure got to slow him down. And also, he contributes in the passing game as well. He can catch the ball out the backfield. His numbers ain't as high as some of them other guys, but he is capable of that. So that's your offense. On defense, for the Saints offense to get off against their defense, numbers do indicate they have a lot of injuries on the defensive line that do contribute to why the team might be struggling there. They haven't quite figured that aspect out of stopping teams from running on them as much as they are. But in the end, we don't want them to figure that out against us. We don't want to get in there and fumble, stumble, and bumble the ball away. We have to be able to have a solid game plan. We need Cesar Ruiz and Trevor Penning and McCoy in the interior to start handling the business against this Buffalo defensive line. Bosa, you got to watch out for Joey Bosa. Greg Rousseau is also another one you got to watch out for. These are quality guys on the edges that'll test Tolly, who they said was fully practiced dealing with knee and back issues. And then on the opposite side, Kelvin Banks Jr., the rookie. This is going to be a good test for our young tackles. But in the end, like I said, the Saints are going to have to do a good job of opening up run lanes for the running attack. This team is the worst team statistically in terms of stopping the run in the NFL. They're dead last. We have to be able to take advantage of that. Your stats mean anything. And perhaps once we do that, then we can attack the secondary, even though they have a really good secondary. But when you start running the ball really good, y'all guys know how it is. Y'all a great think tank. Y'all know how this works. When we start hitting them with the run, hopefully we hitting them so well that those safeties start creeping closer to that line of scrimmage, and that gives us an opportunity to have some one-on-one matchups up the field. So this is a part of the game. So that's what we talking about. Pinpoint some of the guys to kind of watch out for. We talked about on offense and defense. I don't make a big old long spiel about that thing, but at the end of the day, we have to, as a unit, do well. And might I add, no penalty. I mean, they're gonna have penalties, but not a lot of penalties. Can we keep the penalties down? The pre-snap penalties, the brain dead penalties. Can we keep that stuff down? We're gonna need to keep that stuff down. We also can't turn the ball over, meaning fumbles and interceptions. We also have to force some turnovers too to kind of get this thing going. We got to get fumbles and turnovers and all this kind of stuff. Our return game can't allow them to set up short fields for their offense. We have to be able to do something on the opposite end. Our special teams have to be able to flip the field, so to speak, to help our offense out. because our offense through 3 games is struggling. They're averaging 16 points a game, which is 29th out of 32 teams, which is not good. So the Saints going to have to score some points here. They're going to have to score some points, and score some points. Now we don't want to get into a shootout. Let's get that. Let's understand that the Saints will be better served by a conscientious game where they're not shooting out with the Buffalo Bills. That's just not how we're going to win this thing. The Bills average 34 points a game. The Saints I just don't see that happening. You don't want to shoot it out with the Bills. The Saints have not shown that they have that kind of skill just yet. Maybe they do, but we haven't seen it yet this year. So they want to kind of work that clock, be very methodical, take their shots, score touchdowns, and win in the red zone as often. If we get there 4 times, get 3 out of the 4, if not 4 out of the 4. We need to really convert at a high clip against the Buffalo Bills in their building. And remember, family, we must start fast. We have to start fast in this game. We have to start fast. If we start fast, we take the Buffalo Mafia out of the game. We take them out. We blitz them. In terms of we come in there and we run fast, we score. If we can get scored on the first 2 or 3 drives, I know that's something we haven't seen, but that's the kind of thing that will shock them. You know, you want to let them know you come to play, and letting them know you come to play is scoring touchdowns and stopping them and forcing them to punt. And when they're doing that, you score. No field goals. We need to score touchdowns. We can shock these people. Then we can control the ball, then go after them defensively. I know that's a tough strategy, but that's the best we got. I know that a lot of this stuff we haven't seen before from this incarnation of the team, but this is what keys of victory are. You have to be able to go there, and you cannot be a team that doesn't know what it's doing. You can't be having pre-snap penalties. You can't be stupid. You can't be heartless, gutless, frizzled, frazzled. You can't do none of that. If you're an NFL team with guts, you're taking on a team that's a contender, you should be excited for an opportunity to take on the Buffalo Bills. The whole world, majority of the people, pick the Bills to smash your face in. That should be a galvanizing moment for the team, Mr. Kellen Moore, to show them some blackboard material. They say, hey, listen, the world don't believe in us. I believe in us. Let's go out there and shock the world. Have a picture of Muhammad Ali up there standing over Sonny Liston. First one, when he beat him. Because nobody thought Muhammad Ali was going to beat Sonny Liston. Nobody thought he was going to beat him. Nobody thought it. Sonny Liston was looked at as like the Mike Tyson of his day. He wasn't as great as Mike Tyson, but during that period of time, people feared Sonny Liston because he had a prison background. I think he had a few little mafia ties too. He used to beat people ass in prison. They were scared of Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston would beat the skin off you in the fight. And really it was Muhammad Ali that took it to him. And though he was a brash talking kid, nobody thought Muhammad Ali was going to win the fight. Sonny Liston, he tried to talk back and forth to him. Everybody thought he would, and Muhammad Ali went in there and shocked the world. I told you. I'm a bad man. This is the Muhammad Ali moment right here. Can they seize it? Can they take it? We'll see, man. We shall see, man. We shall see. Kellen Moore, I know Kellen Moore did tell us that they had a great week of practice. Can that translate to a much needed win so we can avoid going 0-4? If you can get one here, that is, fam, I ain't gonna say it makes up for the last 3 weeks of funk and filth, but if you can beat the Buffalo Bills in their building, that is a huge confidence building win for a team like the Saints, who've been struggling from a confidence and intelligence and discipline standpoint. That is a huge win for the team if you go in Buffalo and beat them in their building. And Buffalo is considered a Super Bowl contender. 4 weeks in, that's a legitimate win if you can get it. So it's going to be interesting, man. But here go the Saints lineup, fam, for those who want to know about the Saints lineup. Spencer Rattler at QB, of course, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Cooks. We know Devine Valley will be a game-time decision. Trey Palmer is also listed as a guy that's healthy finally, and Mason Tipton. We have not seen much at all of Mason Tipton or even Velus Jones Jr. or Devin Neal. We haven't seen much of those guys because we haven't seen much of the running attack get going. We have not seen the speed component, the fastness that the Saints were alluding to before these games actually started. We have not seen any of that. It has not materialized for us yet. Jawan Johnson at the tight end, backup is Jack Stahl. Remember, the Saints did re-sign Matavo back to the team. As you can see, he's there at the tight end position. Offensive line, Kelvin Banks Jr. Trevor Penning is healthy. He'll start for the first time this year. Eric McCoy, Cesar Salad, Ruiz, and Tali Fuaga did get the thumbs up. He was good to come back after missing a week. On defense, you see Cam there, Divine Gacho, Brian Bursey, and Granderson there, as you can see. And we need those guys to really step up big time. The Saints are really struggling from that standpoint. I really thought that the Saints, I don't know what they are going to do. I know we haven't heard much from Chris Rumph II, who was a guy who gets pressure. We haven't seen Chris Rumph get after him. Jonah Williams has not been that guy either. Some kind of way they're going to have to figure it out to help the defense. We know Carl Granderson leads the teams in sack right now. Brian Bursey is really struggling. Brian Bursey needs to wake up. This is one of those games where Brian Bursey wakes up and gets 2 sacks, grabbing Josh and pulling him down on the ground. This is a 2-sack Brian Bursey game to get him off the snot, because we need Brian Bursey. We talk about Chase Young coming in. We really need Brian Bursey to be the guy that he was in his rookie year when he had 7.5 sacks. We need Brian Bursey to wake up, fam. He doesn't have anything right now. We need him to wake up, come alive, and have a couple of sacks in this game against this and really start galvanizing and helping Granderson with that pass rush. Demario Davis, Pete Werner, Chase Young is out. We'll see Chris Rumph, probably Jonah Williams as well. And then, of course, in the secondary, man. The secondary has really been struggling. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Crystal Light McKinstry, my bad, Alante Taylor, and Yidam. There's no call on whether Yidam will be placed by Quincy Riley. We'll see. At safety, Justin Reed and Jonas Sanker. So it's going to be interesting to see how this folds, because this is a big game in terms for the Saints. This is a desperate game for the Saints, I dare say. You do not want to start the season off 0-4. This is the time when you galvanize and throw everything that you got at them, because if you open up at 0-4, you almost assure yourself that's a hole that you don't want to be. A month worth of games, that's not where you want to go with this. You want to start the right stuff, beat Buffalo and build on that win. And of course, you look at the special teams. Blake Grupe, Kai Kroger are there, and our kick return is doing what they do. Blake Grupe averages a missed kick for the last 3 games. He misses a kick every game. That is not good. I thought the Saints may bring somebody in to kind of scare him off the snide. But Blake Grupe, when we get in positions to kick these field goals, Grupe needs to make them. No more missing, no more damn kicks. It should have been a sign. The Atlanta Falcons, they put what's how you pronounce his name? Young Wei Koo. They put Young Wei Koo in the street. I didn't think that would happen. But that should be a wake-up call to Blake Grupe. If the Falcons, as good as Young Wei Koo has been for the Falcons for all those years, right? That guy was Mr. Money, and they put Young Wei Koo in the street. The Falcons did, right? Blake Grupe, your time is up. If you miss any more of these kicks, Playboy, you better start hitting them damn kicks. It's like I said, all 3 levels, a full out effort, man. They need to flip the game like we seen last week. We need to have the inverted form of that we seen in week 3 against the Buffalo Bills. If they beat the Buffalo Bills like that, man, that will really serve as something. Say, damn, we really that good. We went to Buffalo and beat the Bills. Yes, that will really show them that, hey, man. Then the next game is against the Giants, which is a very winnable game. So it kind of springboards you back to where you're supposed to be. And then before long, you back at 500, But like I said, the first things first, that's a big test on Sunday morning Sunday afternoon, rather, against the Buffalo Bills. So, and remember, this game is on CBS, family. This game is on CBS, not on Fox, on CBS for my family members out there. They're anticipating great weather. 74 degrees, sunny skies at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. They're saying it's going to be great weather. Is it great weather for an upset? We shall see. All right, anyway, man, that's what I got. That's the keys to victory. That's what I got for the preview of these two teams going at each other. And what do you guys think? Let me hear it. And matter of fact, let me go ahead on and pull it up because I think I had. Give me a second because I think I had the. Hold on, let me pull it up, fam. I did the poll this week to ask the family members who wins this in this game. You know, let me pull up the poll here so that family members can so they can get the hold on here, me pull up the poll here for y'all so we can see what you guys voted on. Hold on just a second, let me see if I can put here it is. Hold on. Oh, I'm goddamn it. All right, so here it is right here. Here's the poll question for the fam. And the question to you guys was, place your pick. Please pick your winner in week 4. Saints, Bills. Well, we had how many people? Almost 600 people voted on this poll. And 60% of the almost 600 people chose the Bills. 60% versus 40%. So there you go right there. The family members saying the Bills are going to beat the Saints. And they had a couple of comments there. Let me shout out a few people. He says 808 Raza says, you never know. The Bills might take us lightly. We sneak in there and get one. There you go. All right. Tanya says, I normally pick my guys no matter what. So I'm praying my logic work against me and we win, LOL. All right, John says 37-10. Unfortunately, the Saints lose again, but at least we're in the running for the number 1 pick in next year's draft. All right, John, that's how you build them up. All right, what's up, Hoffa? My boy Hoffa says, hate to say it, Bills all day. Saintster says 51-3. We get another behind the woodshed beat. All right, Bayou boy Francia, what's up? She said, Saints win. All right, shout out to you, giving them one. Saints win says, okay, bye, that's one. All right, Amos Moore, I want to say if that's Amos War. Amore, I hope I'm getting that right. Saints win, thank you. Tyrese said, that's crazy, but all life came from Africa. Okay, all right, I don't know what, I don't know what okay, all right, all life came from Africa. All right, I got you, brother. Jaden Jr. says, let's not be delusional. All right, you can see most of it. All right, he says, all right, Rico says, you my dog, Q, but me being optimistic isn't realistic when we talking about the Saints. Shaking my head. All right, shout out to you, Rico. I see you, man. All right, so there you go, man. That's some of the ones, right? All right, let's see. Nola Hitman says, he says, I'm a diehard Saints fan, though, but bro, just no one injured, 2-0. I can't even read that. My brother just so upset. It's not happening. Yes, anything is possible, but no. When I mean no, I mean no effing no. Okay, all right, brother. Okay, all right, okay. I hear you, brother. All right, so that's what y'all saying. 60% of the family members are saying no way the Saints get that dub. Y'all have spoken. 60%, my goodness. But see, I'm not upset by that because that's what the Saints have been showing us. They have not been a confident team. They haven't played a good brand of football. They made a bunch of errors like we talked about. These people have 31 penalties and we even played 4 games yet. They have 30, they're averaging, they literally averaging 10 penalties a game. Even though they're not doing it, but if you break down the numbers through the 3 and it's 31 games, they're averaging over 10 penalties, 10 penalties a game. That's crazy. 10 penalties a game and you're averaging 16 points and giving up 30 points a game. That's a recipe for 0-3, ain't no doubt about it. All right, big ups to y'all, man. KT, there you go, says Q. Usually after a team gets blown out, one of two things happen. Either they fight like a caged animal or they fold. This will say, shout out to KT. We shall see what happens, man. All right. Thank you, Michaels. He said, I don't see the Saints defense stopping Josh Allen. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much for picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Donations. 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 Gifts. 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 More gifts. More gifts.
Listen to see how that all comes together, to be honest with you, man, because whether the Saints know it or not, man, we're only 4 games into the regular season, you know, and me like walking into it, you know, you can't deny how bad the team is playing, not because they're not talented. And I can get why people are thinking that they're not talented, you know, because they'll think talented teams win, but you can have a talented team all you want. If you don't have a talented coach to take care and make sure his talent is used properly, they won't win, or they won't win consistently. You know, you see what I'm saying? Talent takes direction. Talent is just talent. But a coach is intelligence. He's supposed to be the head coach, brain coach, the head of everything, the guy that puts all of the modes together, the rules, the routes, develops the scruples, the strategy, the head coach, the brain coach. Talent is talent. But without a guy to instruct them or conduct them in a way where they can be successful, that means nothing. That doesn't mean anything. That's where I'm coming from when I mention that the Saints do have the talent. It's just a misuse of it. And plus, the talent has to be motivated by their own way. Like, the coach can give instruction. And I don't think Kellen Moore is a bad head coach. I think he needs to probably add some more more experience. Let's say that, more experience. Advisors around him, like an old retired coaches come around him like Sean Payton used to do. I said this before. When you're a young coach, you need to have that wisdom of those type of guys around you. Just advisors that come in and say, hey, you can do this, you can do that, and just give game. If Tony Dungy was available, you take like a guy like him and you bring him in as an advisor, somebody that won something, that been somewhere. Some of these guys are retired, some of them on television. You can be able to give them a bag to come down here and help you, counsel you on this, that, and the third. Man, that'll be well worth it. But, I don't think he's a bad head coach. I don't think the talent, the team is standing up for him. I really don't think that. I really do think that. Let me say it like that. I think the players aren't playing for Kellen Moore like they're supposed to. Now, they talk about liking them and all this, but they're missing tackles. They're dropping passes. They're not blocking correctly. And also, Kellen Moore could help the process by being real on film. You need to sit Cesar Ruiz down because he's not playing at a high level for an offensive lineman. Everybody sees it. You can't hide it. Can't hide it. He looks awful out there. His technique is bad. His footwork is bad. Sometimes he looks weak when guys push him around. Guys run. So you see people run right past him. He don't complete blocks like he's supposed to. He late to shed off a block. He's double blocking a tackle with McCoy and too slow to slide off there to go to the next level to catch the linebacker so the running back can follow him through the hole. I thought what are you doing, bro? Why y'all practice this? Why are you not in this guy been here for like 6 years? Why are you so bad? Why are you so behind? It's whatever it is. The guy he's not an NFL starting quality offensive lineman. He's not. He looks repetitively bad on tape. He's incredibly, maddeningly inconsistent. That's why I say Kellen Moore has to be real. He has to be real on film. He really does. You see these guys looking bad, you talk to them, try to get them coached up, and if they continue to struggle, you got to sit these people down, man. You sit him down. If you sit him down, that might be the best thing that happened to him because he has to fight to get his spot back. He'll work harder to be better. That's what you do. You bench these guys. You do them a favor and bench them. if they're not playing well. It has to happen. And no matter, it's not just Ruiz, it's anybody that's doing that. You have to be real. You got to be real. If the film is showing you consistently these guys are not contributing in the way they're supposed to and they're hurting the team, those guys have to be set down, bro. That's the bottom damn line. All right, anyway, man, shout out to you guys. Thank you once again, Michael, for that. All right, big ups to you. Good to see y'all. What's up, Jason? Shout out to you. All right, yeah, Jammin says Buffalo probably average about 38 points. What's up, Slim? Shout out to Slim. Yeah, that's right. Not Uma. Donations. All right. Yeah. KT says Dr. Con artist. Man, listen, bro. We have to do something about this, man. Hemisphere says, Q, I have to say some Saints fans are very optimistic saying the Saints going to run all over the Bills. Others blaming it all on Rattler. Wow. How is that? Well, others are saying it's pieces around Rattler. I don't even, and listen, fam, it's not, Rattler on film, I'm going to tell you the real. On film, Rattler is not the reason why the Saints are losing these games. He's a second-year quarterback. He's 0-9 as a starter. That's tough within his right. I like how he's handling it. On film, he has missed on some throws. He has. Can't sugarcoat that. He's missed on a few throws. More than a few if you're looking at the tape. And, yeah, there are throws which he's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, I constantly been telling people over the last 3 weeks, Spencer, you need to get that ball up, bro. He has a trajectory where he throws the ball. And the ball, he throwing it, and the ball is going down like this. That's why the receiver's getting low to catch the ball. But you do that, like if there's a guy on their back, but if you're throwing at Chris Olave in the flat and he has 4 or 5 yards in front of a guy or 6 or 7 yards in front of a guy, don't throw it at his ankles where he has to get down to go and get the ball. You take away his ability to catch and turn and try to make a play upfield. When you throwing it that low, he got to concentrate on getting down there, getting low to get it, and then get up to go and turn, and the guy already on him. Don't do him like that. The ball has to be up more, and I know why he's doing that because he don't want to throw that ball and then it is popped up to an interception and all this kind of stuff. So he's being real conservative in that way. And then, of course, I noticed throws like that the play is not developing. Like there were better targets out there. He'll throw it out when there's a guy on the inside there, there's stuff like that. The tape shows it. And then also there are times when I see the offensive line and he's not completely, and listen, fam, he's not completely, he might say, yeah, these guys, this, that, and the third, but the body language on tape ain't showing that. That offensive line is not holding up very well. He gets flushed out of the pocket, especially from the right side with Ruiz. He gets flushed out of the pocket. He has to take off and run and use his feet, this sort of thing. And it's just like, you can see him at times. He's still a young quarterback. So he don't often, I ain't gonna say often, but he needs to progress faster when you have that kind of line there. He needs to progress faster. Like, and I know that's for him to say, it's easier said than done, but it has to be the case. If you got a creaky or leaky line like we have that can't seem to run block or keep guys off him consistently, because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, very inconsistent, he has to progress faster. He has to be able to read fast to get the ball out. He got to be more decisive. If there's green in front of him that he can take off with it and go get the 5 yards on the slide. Whatever you got to do, you got a pair of wheels. Spencer has a pair of wheels. Use those wheels, because the defense they're not spying Spencer Rattler yet. These guys are just simply playing in the zone. They're right back in the zone, forcing Spencer to keep everything in front of him and want the Saints to dinky-donky do up the field. But he has to progress faster. That's something that he has to develop. But it is not that they cannot blame that on Spencer Rattler. If you put Tyler Shuck in there, Tyler Shuck gonna get destroyed. He's gonna get knocked around badly. It's not Shuck's time right now. Spencer Rattler is not playing bad where, Kellen Moore has to yank the man. Because if the coach know anything, if anybody's supposed to lose their job, it's not Spencer Rattler. You better not touch Rattler unless you get rid of Ruiz and a few other people that's out there, like Yedem. There are other guys they can focus on outside of Spencer Rattler, but he understands that as a quarterback, he's going to get that. He's actually playing pretty decently. He ain't playing great and excellent, but he is playing very decently. He's not turning the ball. He had his first interception last game. He has to read a little better. He got to get that ball up a little bit more, and he got to be better accurately throwing that ball down the field. Some of these wide receivers also got to help out by catching the ball. You know, Juwan Johnson, Chris Olave, and, you know, even Alvin Kamara, when he dropped the ball, he threw it to him in the flat a couple of games ago. He dropped it. You remember the one that he threw to him last game when he threw the ball out there, the ball was well enough out there for Elvin to catch it. For whatever reason, Elvin turns around and starts backpedaling. If he was running face, you know, like he would regularly run, he would have ran under that ball. It would have been a touchdown. I don't know why he turned around. I don't understand that. The ball's coming out. Why are you backpedaling to it, trying to reach at it with one hand? Turn around and run under it. So, I mean, this stuff has to be cleared out, but it's not all on him. A lot of these veterans are not doing their job, especially on that offensive line. Guys need to do better. The guys need to run better routes, and guys need to create separation. We got wide receivers that are fast that's not getting separation. They're not getting any separation. These guys are not getting separate. You notice that on film? The Saints, it's very glaring that guys are sticking to the Saints. They're not gaining any separation from the defenders. Plus, Kellen Moore has to do, him and Nussmeier has to do a better job of play calling, because what I'm looking at with these plays, with them keep doing that same delayed draw play, move Elvin to the left, delayed draw play, move Elvin to the right, delayed draw play, then give him the ball, don't give him the ball, give him the ball, and like, what? Seattle seen that bullshit and figured it out in less than a quarter. You're not going to be able to do, you got to do something else. You better throw something else in there. That's pathetic, man. Y'all not sickened by how the Saints offense look? I mean, with the not just the fact that they just dropping it. I'm talking about you see the motion and stuff like that, but y'all ain't sickened, and just like this play calling this sucks. We gonna just delay it and fake delay it and then give him the ball and it's the same point that he's moving from. I mean, can't we switch this up and do it differently? This is the famous Doug Nussmeier offense, the Kellen Moore offense that we're supposed to be seeing through 3 weeks. This can't be it, fam. He got to change this shit up, man. Drew said that the Philadelphia Eagles offense was born. Drew, did you get a good look at our shit? Did you get a good look at our shit, Drew? Come on. All right, Ray says, I need AK to have a Superman history-making game in order to upset and have fighting power to squeeze this one. Yeah, AK-41, man. We got to get it going, bro. Hemisphere says, Q, Bob and Allen of Under the Dome is predicting Shuck to gonna get put in the game at halftime should the game get away from Rattler. This could be a game, bro, where it could be that. But I tell you one thing, you put Tyler Shuck in that game against the Buffalo Bills, you better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch out. Tyler Shuck, you put Tyler Shuck in there, man. You better watch out. You better watch out. What's up, Lester? Shout out to you, brother. All right, KT says, Q, I'm about to go into scout mode. Scout mode. Okay, you're always in scout mode. What you talking about, KT? About to go in scout mode. You already in scout mode. Yeah, Brazil from Tulane. Yes, in Tennessee. Dennis Sutton from Penn State. Yeah, the 6'3". Yeah, Delaney. Yeah. Mansour from LSU. Yeah, I know you like him a lot too. KT, you're about to go into scout mode, bro. You always in scout mode, bro. What you talking about over there? King Chosen wants to need to put AK. And hey, bro, I've said that. Alvin Kamara needs to be. He never needs to leave the field, in my estimation, unless he be doing this. You know, when he got to wave himself out, and the reason is because you need a matchup disruptor. Alvin Kamara needs to stay out there, whether he's running the ball or catching the ball. He needs to be out there. And I'd rather have Alvin out there than to have Brandon Cooks out there. Come on now. Man, I don't want Brandon Cooks out there no more, because Brandon Cooks can't block. He don't know what he doing. He looked like he's 5'2" out there. He don't want to block. His blocking is terrible, and he's not really that impactful wide receiver wise. So why would I need to have him out there when I can have Elvin and Murray or Neal or one of those guys back there. If I can use AK as a distraction for the defense so I can stretch him out so I can use Kendre Miller to battle ram him, or I can use Devin Neal. We can use multiple running back combinations because some of these running backs have the ability to not only run but catch the ball as well. So we need to have that versatility. I've said that, bro. They're not, I don't know why they're not doing it. They're treating Alvin Kamara like he's a regular running back, and he's not, man. That's the thing. These people need to figure. They need to learn their goddamn personnel is what they need to do, bro. Randy says, yeah, Drew was tripping when he said that. I'm like, what does boring offense look like? I hate to see what a fun one look like. I think he was just throwing a little shade at Philly. But you take the Saints offense, man. You hand the ball off to delayed draw to Elvin on this side, delayed draw on that. Oh, give it to him, not give it to him. Delayed draw, and then a delayed draw move where you have a rollout where you got Elvin going that way, and they run that Spencer fake at least like 5 or 6 times a game. The defense is not fooled by that, bro. Where's that? You better come out with, we need more wrinkles than that, bro. You need more wrinkles than that. That shit is like, dude. I'm like, why? And then it's not really working because the offensive line is not creating any real lanes for Elvin to go. He has to fight hard for 2 or 3 yards, guys tackling him because they pushing these big sad ass people up, holding them up like a large panel board. And then when they look behind him on either side of him to see where he is, and then when he gets close, they just reach around and grab the guy. Come on, man. That's not blocking. Blocking means you remove that guy out of the way. He is no longer an encumbrance or he's an obstacle for my running back. I push him out of there, cleared him out of there. You clearing, the Saints linemen are not clearing defensive linemen out. They're not moving furniture. In other words, pushing these guys out of the way to open up lanes for these runners. They're not doing that. They're not doing that at all. I see them struggling to get off of blockers to get to the next level. But I do not see my adversaries, the ops, struggling to do the same thing. Like what we seen last week with the, who we played last week. Shit, I forget that damn fast. I'll be trying to get these games because who beat the brakes off the Saints last week? I don't even care. Whoever it was, Sam Darnold. That's how tough these games is, man. You want to forget the shit. Whoever Sam Darnold played for, shit. I don't care no more. I don't care who it was. Sam Darnold, 4 incompletions on us the whole damn game. That's what I'm talking about. How you let that dude do that? 49ers and whoever that other damn team was. Shit. I don't care. The bottom line is this, is that they had pitch and catch and you struggled. Why was it so drastically hard for you to do what they was doing? Wasn't it pitch and catch? Fam, it was pitch and catch. It was pitch and catch. The guy had 4 incompletions the whole game. Pitch and catch. Why can't we pitch and catch? Why can't we do that? Why can't we run the ball with strength and muscle and push people out? Why can't we do that? Why can't we average more than 16 points a game? That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah, Seattle, bro. I was trying to forget them. Thanks a lot, Slim. It's a terrible thing, man. Why can't we do that? Why can't we do what a professional football team does? They got a lot of good veterans on it that know what they need, that's not new to the party, who've been here for some time and have understood what NFL life is and what producing is. Some of these guys played at high levels and they're young veterans, some of them older. Why can't we have that temperament? Why can't we do that? Why they got 31 penalties in 3 games, averaging 10 penalties a game? Why are we doing that? Huh? And talking about every week why it's happening. Yeah, we got to work on that. We got to clean it up. People say, Q, I'm getting Dennis Allen vibes. Yeah, because every time we talked about it, man, I have to play this.
You might call me Santa Fran, but I'm the cleanup man.
The cleanup man. You'll sweep your girlfriend off the feet. The reason I know so about him is because he's fooled her, an old girl of mine.
Swept her right off her feet and into the jag.
Swept her right off her feet and into the jag. What was Willie? That's Willie D. Cause she was in her face. That's a punching bag. Man, y'all need to watch that whole video, bro. That's some funny shit on there, man. That dude there looking like Zion, man, dancing around. But listen, man, that's what we got. The guy is cleaning up every damn thing. Gotta clean this up. I stopped saying. I said we gonna iron out the wrinkles. If he said chopping wood, I'm done, man. If he says we're gonna chop some wood, I'm done. I'm out of here. Shit, I'm done. If he's saying that, if Kellen Moore starts saying, "Fam, we gotta just keep chopping wood," I'm done. Hey, listen, I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm over. It's over with. But the bottom line is, man, at the end of the day, I gave y'all the keys to the victory for today, man, and that's what it has to be going into this week number 4 matchup with a Buffalo Bill team that's 3-0, the third best scoring offense in the NFL, with the number one total. Well, they have the number one total offense. So they top 3 in scoring. Number 1 total offense, number 1 rushing offense, number 6 passing offense, number 9 total defense, second best secondary in the NFL, but the worst rush defense in the entire league. There go your end right there. So we got to take advantage of that, fam. They got a shot like anybody, man. They got a puncher shot. But you can't be going in there averaging 10 penalties a game and shooting yourself in the foot and all this kind of stuff, man. You got to play a smarter brand of ball if you're going to beat the Buffalo Bills, man. All right. So anyway, if y'all got any questions, throw them in the chat. We're about to get on up out of here. Shout out to you. What's up, C-Step? Big ups to you, Bullet Family Tribal Vlog. I see you, fam. Appreciate you. What's up, Zion? He says, chop wood, carry water. That's right. Chop wood and carry water. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Dennis Allen never chopped no wood, and he pay people to carry the water. All right, KT says, Q, iron out the wrinkles. That's right, bro. That's better. Hey, bro, that's better than saying clean it up. You got to iron out the wrinkles, bro. Dennis Allen never said that, too. That's one you can't say he said that one. He says, iron out the wrinkles. Q, Kellen Moore needs 50-gallon jug. Stay flow to straighten out. To straighten out everything. All right, yeah, Kai said, yeah, he looked like a pirate on that. He thought he was doing something, too. All right, Mad Drummer says, so we stacked up some first-round picks and not getting the QB in next year's draft. I don't think, like I said, man, Saints, and I don't think they're going to draft no QB. That's what a lot of these other folks are saying, that Saints going to draft a quarterback. I don't think they're going to do that unless they find out that Tyler Shuck is not the guy, which I don't think they should waste. Now, the Saints have drafted quarterbacks 3 years straight, but they weren't high-ranking quarterbacks, right? We had Haener was a third rounder. Haener was a third or fourth? I forget. Doesn't even matter. But Haener was a third or fourth guy rounder. We know Spencer was a 5th round pick. Tyler was a 2nd. So Tyler Shuck is a 2nd round pick, and they see him as a guy. I think Kellen Moore not lying about that. I think he likes him for the future. He ain't close to being ready now. And you don't put Tyler Shuck in there unless you believe the season is over with. Then you turn the season over to a young guy. You play behind a young guy to develop reps for the future. But as long as Spencer Rattler's in there, the Saints are attempting to win games. This is the truth. That's the thing. Now, I do think, if it'll be interesting to see if the game gets blown out of hand, do they move Tyler Shuck in there, which they need to be very cautious about that because, he might be able to create a momentary jolt, but putting him in against a Buffalo team running around like that, man, that could be catastrophic. But we'll see. We hope that don't even get to that point. We'll see, man. MSFest says, Q, the Saints got 5 picks in next year's draft. It's something like that, bro. It's something like that. But the Saints, they believe in the haul that they got this year. Like I said, we don't have to work it through the draft. We don't have to all work it through the draft. I still think the Saints are going to sign people, veterans to the line. I think they'll still add people in free agency. You know, that's just one leg to it. You know, you would hope. All right, Douglas says head coach is third. Oh, he was a third. Okay, yeah. He said HC is a third string QB. KT says as long as we don't draft Nussmeier, I'm good. Yeah, I think Nuss is kind of falling down right now in his status, but it's still early on in the season. We'll see how he rebounds. Yeah, Greg said he was a 4th round. Okay, thank you, Greg. All right, Still Bill, what's up, bro? Says, you know, we going Togo off to go offensive line in round 1. I'm not mad at that. I mean, a guard would definitely go. I think Cesar Ruiz is a problem, man. And Penning has 1 year left on his contract, and I'm not really sold. Saints need to really go after it. If it's not a first-round draft pick or offensive lineman, maybe they could spend some money on a veteran. Matt Drum says Q Rattler's confidence has to increase urgently. And indeed, bro, he needs to speed. His game needs to speed up. So honestly, I think Kellen Moore really wanted Dart and Tet McMillan. Yeah, you know what? There was rumors the Saints were looking at Jackson Dart, and Giants took him way early than a lot of people thought they were. They took him way early, but yeah, they were definitely wanting Jackson Dart. I don't know about Tet McMillan though. Linda says the games proved Carr did not deserve the hate from the Saints fans. Carr was not a good quarterback, Linda. He wasn't. One good QB can lift 52 terrible players. You're right on that. Rattler, Carr, Winston, Dalton. No one can win with this team. All right. What's up, Bird Talk? Shout out to you, fam. Good to see you in the chat. Yeah, but he talking about coming back to the league. He didn't want to play for the Saints because he didn't want to stand up before that light. He still was getting his money. He still was a professional. King Chosen One says, all I need if Mickey gone to okay, yeah, Mickey. Mickey's not going nowhere, bro. Nowhere unless something drastic happened to call him home. I don't think Mickey going nowhere. He got it laid out. DGX says, bottom line, if the Saints want to rebuild the correct way, Mickey Loomis cannot be a part of it. I agree with it. Mickey Loomis don't want, like I said, no, he's not the rebuilding dude. He's not, I've already said that. He don't believe in that. He would sign veterans and stuff like that. He wants to transition the team from where it is into not a young team, but like somewhere closer up toward the middle. You see what I'm saying? That's his strategies. And Kellen Moore has some learning to do. You know, he has to learn how to motivate these players. And it's a shame, but a lot of these guys are getting paid, but a lot of these guys have been infected. Some of these guys are leftovers from the Dennis Allen administration over the last 4 years. Some of these are holdovers that have been infected by losing and infected by that loser-ass mentality and excuse making. A lot of these guys are still there, and Kellen Moore has the uphill battle to fight to get these guys back into winning some games. So it is what it is. KT says, Q, honestly, we need to build through the draft. The consistently good teams build their rosters, homegrown talent, Packers, Ravens, Bills, Eagles, and Lions. The Saints have not consistently drafted well enough to heavily rely on the draft, KT. That's why I wouldn't recommend that, although I did respect Kellen Moore's draft. You know, all those guys on the team, his 9-player draft class are all on the active roster, all of them made the team. All of them on the team. That's very rare that you'll see an entire draft class, especially one with 9 players, all make the active roster and the team, you know, this type of thing. That's very impressive. But at the same time, like I said, man, we'll see how it all works out, bro. You know, we'll see. I think if you have 3 assets to building a team, you can still use every last one of those. You can use the draft, you can use free agency. If they fit, they fit. You know, like the Saints could sign a veteran offensive lineman at the guard position and draft another one on the opposite side. They need to do somebody because I don't think Penning is going to be here next year. I think he's on the last year of his contract. And because, you know, I mean, no, you know, we need to go somewhere else. And then, of course, Cesar Ruiz, the Saints are still in denial about Cesar Ruiz. They don't see Cesar Ruiz, or at least they show to us they don't see him. They don't see him. All right. So anyway, it is what it is, bro. Douglas says, say Q, you think that Miss Benson's hoping for Manning to come out in 2027? I don't think she even know that, bro. I don't think she paying attention to that at all, man. The 2027, man. His draft status is taking a hit too. He's had some rough outings, man. But that's that's been expected. You know, that's to be expected, man. He's a Manning. He's unlike a lot of other quarterbacks. He is a Manning, man. He's carrying a name, and that name weighs heavily. Your name, you had you had two uncles that were Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. You got a one uncle that's a Hall of Fame. I don't know if Eli gonna be a Hall of Famer. He did take the Giants to a Super Bowl win, so he might be. I don't know. But you had two uncles that were Super Bowl quarterbacks. The pressure is on Arch. I don't know if Arch will be that guy. Arch should have went to LSU. That's what he should have did. He wanted to do something outside of it and step into Texas, and they roasting his ass out there. He should have stayed home. Even though I knew Archie Manning probably wouldn't have liked him to do that, but you're your own man. You can make the call. Hell, if he can go to if Peyton can go to Tennessee and Eli can go to Ole Miss, then you can go to LSU. He should have stayed home. That's what he should have did. Not went out there to Texas. Now they roasting his ass every week. So, I mean, it is. We'll see how it go, fam. I have no idea. Mad Drummer says Brandon Schiff is still out there. Bro, we need some help on that line. They gotta be over there. Mad Drummer, so we're going to Ohio next year for, he says, for our guy, Drew. Yeah, Drew is going in that hall, baby. He going in that hall. Yeah, we'll see how it go, fam. Yeah, I'm really happy for Drew Brees, though, man. We knew he would be a first ballot Hall of Fame. As soon as he was eligible, they was gonna put him in the hall, and we knew that off the bat. You know, well, you know that I just think it's awesome, man. It's been 5 years. Zion says Eli and Peyton won two Super Bowl. Okay, yeah, there you go, man. The pressure, bro. That's what I'm saying. He had two uncles that had the Manning names that were quarterbacks that won championships. That is something that he's going to have to live up to. That is a tough spot for a youngster to be in. But he's good. I seen him play when he was down here. He has the talent. He has the talent, but he has to put it together. Because he went to Texas. They saying Texas is supposed to be a national champion this year. We gonna see. All right, J2 the P says trust. He says we've been worse than this. You're right. Once upon a time, our leading scorer on our team was a kicker, Martin Anderson. Yes, sir, that's true. Long time ago. It's very interesting, man. It's very interesting. But we got work to do, man. You know, we got a lot of work to do on this side of stuff, and we'll see, man. Saints 0-3 against Buffalo in Buffalo, a 3-0 team with a lot of stuff rolling for them. A really good offense, a really good secondary, run defense is suspect, but can the Saints take advantage of it? The temperament, intelligence, not having these penalties, go up there because it's very likely that Buffalo could take the Saints for not being serious. The Buffalo Saints just got wiped out by the Seattle Seahawks. Quite Three Stooges laughably, right? Very comically, they got took out. And people could just be looking past the Saints as, trash. This just a doormat team, and that's when people can shock the piss out of you. So I don't know, if they take him lightly, the Saints might have a chance. But they got to start fast. They can't have all these stupid penalties, and they got to understand they got to get that snap count. And another little caveat, fam, they got to make sure that snap count is right and exact. You can't go into Buffalo, it gets loud up there, and not have that snap count together. They can't be having these false starts in Buffalo because it's loud up there too. They got to make sure that is straight as well, right? So that's a little bit of game there. All right, anyway, yeah, Breeze and Fitzgerald, they definitely going in, bro. They definitely going in. All right, anyway, with that being said, man, I'm going to get ready to get out on that, man. Listen, man, I appreciate y'all for chiming in. If y'all want to get y'all word in on who going to win the game, please feel free to go to the post section of the channel and get your vote in, man. It should be the first option. I think it's the first or second thing that's there for the poll question. Who will win the week number 4 matchup? Saints Bills. Saints is the first choice, the Bills are second. 60% of the nation are saying that the Buffalo Bills are going to beat the brakes off the Saints. 60, how many people is it? 595 people, almost 600 people are saying, hey, Q, they're gonna beat the brakes off the Saints. There it is right here. Almost 600 people, 60% of them said Bills beat the Saints. There you go. 40% says, nah, I'm rocking with my Saints. Want to get your vote in, get it on, and I'm going to come back to this poll on the game day show before the game starts. I'm going to come back to this poll and update it again and see where you guys are. Maybe the Saints gain a little ground between now and then on the poll. We'll see, but 60% says not even close. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to ask you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're not a sub, join up. Much love to the fam. Big ups to, who is that on there? Shout out to DC on IG. Big ups to the rest of the fam. And now listen, I'm going to holler at, he says, Q, I feel dispute our O-line Kamara will shine Sunday. Okay. Well, they are the worst run defense in the league. Remember the game Kamara and Ingram did? Yeah, I remember that. All runs versus Buffalo, TD drive, no passing. And like I said, I made a point to mention that historically, and I said historically, from a historical standpoint, the Saints usually have good success in Buffalo. Historically speaking, I had to throw that caveat in at y'all. Historically speaking, the Saints have won, once again, the Saints have won 4 of 5 at Buffalo. They haven't lost there since 1983. So they've won 5 of the past 6 meetings, Saints have, including a 47-10 win in a recent trip back in 2017, which was the largest margin of victory in the series between the Saints and the Bills. So historically speaking, the Saints love to go to Buffalo and play the Bills. We've had a lot of success there. Does that continue? So if anything, you have history on your side, maybe not the present, but you do have history on your side, right? So we'll see how all that looks, man, when the time comes. Anyway, man, I'm going to let y'all go. I shall return. I'll be back on the broadcast for Sunday morning, the live stream, man. I hope y'all join us for that, for the Saints play-by-play live watch party on Sunday at 12 o'clock, man. We're going to be here live watching week number 4, Saints Bills. Man, let's see if the Saints can rectify, fix the ship, turn it around against the Bills, man. We'll see. With that being said, I salute you. Much love. Y'all have a nice rest of y'all afternoon, or rather night, and I'm going to see y'all later. Much love. Peace. Who Dat Nation?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this, and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like this, and I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who Dat.